And then we went dark. And let me explain why we went dark, a little bit of why we went dark. Number one.
Yeah, explain this to me, because I don't know.
When we started the podcast, Brittany, when we started the podcast, we signed a deal with a company that would put us in front of, so you can listen to on Apple, you can listen on everywhere podcasts are available.
And we signed before we even knew numbers that we were going to get. Like, we signed before we even...
Yeah, it was just like, hey, they're going to help us reach all these platforms. They're also going to put ad placements in our podcasts, right?
Yeah.
So we'll cover our costs, we'll make money on the podcast. Well, little did we know that they were mandatorily making us put, well, I don't know if we ever actually did it, but they were putting 4 ad reads in these podcasts, guys. And I was fighting every episode. I will not do 4 ad reads. Yeah. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's good for a new podcast. I don't think it's good for our show. So what happened was, and I mean, we fought for it. Did we ever do one with 4 ad reads? Maybe one, because I made such a big deal out of it.
I don't remember.
I just didn't think it was healthy for this podcast, right? Like, I want to just talk and hang out, not read ads the whole time.
It'd be really funny if you clicked to an ad right now.
There's going to be no ad in this episode. So as a business owner, you want ads in your podcast. That's how you fund the show. That's how you grow the show. That's how you prosper as a business. You have to have ads.
Yeah.
But 4 ads was overkill for me. Maybe I kicked myself in the butt, because now that I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, most of them do have that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of ad reads and everybody expects it and it's normalized and that's how it is. Me, coming from YouTube where it's so frowned upon to have, I mean, you have 1 brand in a YouTube video. Imagine if you put 3 or 4 in a YouTube video.
Right.
So that's where my mind goes, even though maybe most viewers are okay with it. I wasn't.
I think most people are numb to it now.
Yeah, probably. They just skip past it.
Yeah.
So what happened was, that was the deal. That's what we had to do. So I pulling out.
Wow.
It's one of the first times I nailed it on this one. That's for the next conversation, by the way. Through that process, it took some time to get out of this deal, to get out of the brands, and that required me to pay back the already sold brand deals that I was not now reading on the podcast.
Yeah.
So they already closed the deals, then I refused to do them. Now I have to pay back all the deals. And we are finally free of all that. I learned a lot. I have no regrets. And now we get to start fresh. And I'm calling it season 2 just so that I have an excuse to start fresh. But how many episodes did we do? 20 something.
I have no idea.
Maybe 25.
Was I there for all of them?
That's a good season 1. Season 2, baby. Here we go. 25 more shows. I'm super excited. We have just some phenomenal out the gate guests that we're ready to roll on. We're going to be shooting next week.
And I think for you, we need to figure out, I think another thing that hurt you was the guests. Like, scheduling guests is really hard.
It's complicated.